Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about the lizard who stole my fiancé. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. This one has an interesting title. Hello, Pathra. I would love to share with you the biggest drama story I have. It involves a deep relationship and friendship I had with two specific people, and it affected others too. I feel that I am finally ready to share this with people and kind of give myself a sense of peace with it. So, the lizard who stole my fiancé. I had met a wonderful guy whose name was Kip. He was from the US. And I am from the UK. We met through mutual friends on a different game and had never spoken to each other outside of the group until we joined a Discord friend group. We started connecting there as friends, played games together, and really enjoyed each other's company. I didn't realize at the time that he was interested in me. We were just close friends. I was dating someone who ended up being abusive. And Kip confessed to me that he did not just like me. He was in love with me. I started to see Kip in a different light and began to develop feelings for him. We met in person almost immediately, and it was like a match made in heaven. He proposed to me that year, November 2019, when I was visiting him. We spent 3.5 beautiful years together. Our relationship was tested by COVID like most were, but we got through it. In the beginning of 2022, we began planning our wedding. I was getting my visa to move permanently to the US. We picked out several wedding venues, and I even bought a wedding dress. Wedding dresses ain't cheap, man. Well, I mean, it could be cheap, but I feel like most are pretty expensive. But Kip had no real idea of what he wanted to do in life. He didn't work or go to school. He still lived with his mom. I was okay with this though, and I encouraged him to pursue his interests. Aw, that's sweet of them. They're just like being the supportive, like, you can do this, do what you want to do. And they're cool with them still living with their mom. Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to live out on your own and pay for rent sometimes, right? Sometimes people save up while they're living with their parents. Everyone has different situations. Kip went to school for a short time and got a job. Not the best job, but still a job. His mom helped pay for a lot of things like plane tickets and the wedding dress. Oh, so the mom paid for the wedding dress. Kip's mom paid for OP's wedding dress. She is a lovely woman. God bless her heart. We had tried playing Final Fantasy a few years back, but I had been busy and didn't have the time to really get into it. But we tried again in August 2022 and absolutely fell in love with it. I was the more social of the two of us, and I made some friends in Gridania immediately. Shio and Lucy. They were friendly and welcoming, and even invited me to their FC. I introduced them to Kip, and this all bloomed into a wonderful friendship, doing content and lots of in-game chatting. Shio and Lucy were dating, and then one day, Shio came to me for advice on some relationship problems that they were having. I cannot recall exactly what the conflict was, but I gave the general advice of, you two seem lovely together. You just need to communicate more. I will say, Shio was definitely more of a social butterfly than Lucy was. I thought Lucy was a lovely girl, but I never got very close with her. Shio and Lucy were always very up and down, constantly breaking up and getting back together. At one point, Lucy was two-timing Shio and another guy in-game. She even told him she was marrying someone else in-game, and she wanted Shio to stop her at the altar. She's like creating some RP like fantasy in the game. Like, yeah, I want to marry this other guy, but can you stop the marriage at the altar? What? You know, like, I believe this is like totally someone in the game that would say this. She wants to be wanted. Was this some kind of RP? I didn't really understand all their issues, but they got back together again, as they always did. In September, a dear old friend of mine passed away. Oh no. I was devastated. I was also overcome with mental health problems and family issues. I was worried that I would become homeless. Kip was a very emotionally closed off person, and I felt alone. I asked for a week of space from Kip. I felt like a shell of a person. Kip took this well for a couple of days, but then started crying to me how I was being unfair by not talking to him or giving him attention. This just pushed me further away. It definitely was not helping. I hadn't told him exactly what was going on in my life, just that I was going through a really hard time, and that when I could form words, I would discuss it with him. I needed him to understand. I was gonna say, like, oh gosh, like, it sounds like he's about to be like pretty impatient and he wants to know what it is. Like, just give the person space and in time they will tell you. I was spending a little bit of time talking to my other friend, Yusef, and Kip was really jealous of it, as if I could only talk to Kip if I was upset and no one else. But Yusef was a good friend and we just did RP and content together, and it was completely innocent. And since Yusef wasn't directly involved in any of this, it just seemed like somewhere that I could be safe. But Kip ran to Shio and Lucy crying that I was being horrible even though I asked him not to tell anyone about what I was going through. Kip called me selfish, and about 2 weeks later, I split off from Kip. I was pushed to the point that I felt too overwhelmed. We still tried to talk, and I tried to communicate with Kip, but he kept just talking about other games when I tried to talk about our issues. I wanted to talk about what needed to be worked on in our relationship, but he would just act like it wasn't happening. This was common for Kip. If we ever had a fight, he would just be non-responsive and pretend that nothing was wrong. Kip liked to meddle in other people's drama and would rather talk about Shio and Lucy and their issues. I suspected he had a slight fixation on Lucy because he seemed more concerned about comforting her than he did on working on our relationship. Damn. We're seeing the seeds being planted already. I mean, we all know the title. In mid-October, Kip told me that for a moment, he thought he liked Lucy. Oh my god, he actually said that to OP. Kip was like, I thought I liked Lucy. This stung me because I thought we were slowly working through our issues on the way to getting back together. Kip was really dismissive about it, saying that they just became close because Lucy was having such a hard time with Shio. I wasn't talking to either of them at the time since I was so overwhelmed, and at the end of October, Kip came to me and said he still loved me. He said he still wanted to marry me and have kids. He brought up a time in the past when I had thought I was pregnant with Kip's child, and then it turned out to be a false pregnancy. Kip told me that he was disappointed by this, but had never told me. Oh my god. That's like so much weight on like a girl when like the guy's like, I'm really disappointed we didn't have a kid or something. It's like, dude, that's not the girl's fault. You know, like this stuff happens. It's actually very common. It's such a turnoff when a guy just thinks of themselves and not about their partner and how, like, what they felt through the process. It's like, am I really gonna bring a Love is Blind issue back? And because there's like a couple in Love is Blind where the guy, all he cares about is their sex life. And he's like, but I want to have sex with you without a condom, so you should be on the pill. I know, it's like when the guy just really wants what he wants and he's just like, I don't care what you want, but this is gonna happen because, you know, my sex life, I want a kid, I don't care. It's like, it's off-putting. Okay. I was taken aback by this. I said I needed just a few days to clear up some real life stuff, and then we could sit down and really go over our plans for the future. Yeah, like, it sucks. When anyone tries to get pregnant and it doesn't happen, it can be upsetting for both sides of the party. 8 days later, I messaged him in hopes of us getting on VC and being able to talk. I apologized and said I still loved him. I expressed how this month had been really rough and I should have reached out and communicated way better. I was then struck right in the heart. Kip told me he did not wish to try anymore and that he was done. This absolutely broke me, but I accepted it. I respected his decision. Oh my God, it's like a hard cutoff out of the blue. A couple days later, in the beginning of November, Shio had reached out to me apologizing for how he instantly took Kip's side. Shio said he should have reached out to me and been a better supportive friend. I accepted his apology and completely understood how it looked from the outside. Shio told me about how Lucy and he had broken up because she became distant all of a sudden and did not wish to speak or do things with him. She was constantly creating conflict out of nothing. They were still in contact supposedly and bickering all the time. Oh my God, so 2 relationships just getting wrecked. And it's so obvious that when someone just fights with someone over anything and then someone just leaves someone just out of the blue, yeah, I mean, they found someone else, right? They want to move on and quickly cut off their current relationship. Then Lucy disclosed to Shio in a snarky manner that she was dating someone else. "Don't act like you don't know who it is," she said, and then confessed that it was Kip. I once again struck with another knife stabbing me in the heart. Kip had an opportunity to tell me this, but he didn't. I wish he had told me he'd fallen for someone else to give me closure. It was only a week before that he had told me how much he loved me dearly and still wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. Damn. Went from A to B so fast. And yeah, that's so sad that like Kip didn't tell OP, hey, I actually like Lucy and I'm gonna try see how it works with Lucy. And OP had to find out through Shio because Lucy told Shio. I was angry, quite clearly suffering with open wounds from the troubling month I had just gone through. I don't know exactly how Shio was able to find the information that he was sharing with me. He was very vague about the source, but he had told me about how he was able to look at chat logs and things. He showed me that Lucy and Kip throughout all of October were connecting with each other. It started with them commiserating about me and Shio, and then became flirting and more. All the while that he was carrying on with Lucy, Kip had been in my DMs telling me he still loved me and just wanted to be with me. I became very emotional about it. I begged Shio to voice call me several days later. I expressed how I felt really betrayed and wished Kip had just been honest with me, even if it hurt. It hurt more because I had to find out from another source. It's hard to say whether it was cheating or not because technically we weren't together. But I thought our intention and communication was to get back together and that we loved each other. Yeah, I mean, were they together for 3 years? And then they were planning like visa stuff for her to come over to the US and the mom bought her a wedding dress. Like that's a lot. Like that sounded very serious. And for Kip to be like, I love you still love bombing OP. And then a week later, like, oh, Kip breaks up with OP to get with Lucy. Like that's so rough. What the heck? Now, I told Kip that he ruined everything we had. 3 years down the drain. The friendship that we built even before we dated was done. It was all gone. All the effort that we had put in planning to get married, have children, and live together was thrown away in an instant because of someone he connected with over a period of 2 weeks. Wow, 2 weeks of connection only to change your mind. Oh my God. You know what? And OP only knows that it's 2 weeks. What if it was like even earlier than that? You know, like what if they started flirting even a little before that? What OP knows is that it was 2 weeks in her eyes. Yeah, that's so... Drop everything for someone you barely know. Kip told me that he never liked Final Fantasy. He said he only played it for my sake. He stopped playing for a while, and then I heard he returned and had transferred to another world. I heard that he told people that he met that I cheated on him and did all these bad things. I have since sought therapy and I am a lot better and currently in a lovely relationship. I reflect back on this and I know I should have done better in terms of communication. I should have been more mature with how I handled everything. I don't see myself as a victim. What I went through was terrible, but there is support out there and I know the better days are ahead. I wish Kip all the best in his future endeavors. I hope he is happy in life. My final message is that no matter what you are going through, you are not alone. I pray that you have the courage to seek help because it is there, I promise. Thank you so much for reading my story. You know, at the end there, when they say I could have communicated better, whenever you come out of a relationship, you do have those like thoughts of like, maybe I could have done this better or this or that. So I think Opie had a little bit of that, like maybe things would have been different if I communicated better. Maybe that thought might be in their head. But like, I think everything happens for a reason, right? Like, just didn't seem like you guys were meant to be together. And they seem a lot happier now. But has anyone out there, like I'm sure there's a lot of people who have been in a relationship and then one day out of the blue, your partner just goes, yep, I'm out, for like not even really giving you a solid reason. Like I know I've been in, when I was younger, young love, like I would probably say this is probably young love too. When I was in some young love relationship, a guy did this to me, just broke up with me. And I also thought we had future plans together. We've talked about it. God, we were like in our early 20s. I knew his family well. I traveled with him. And then one day he broke up with me. I didn't understand it. And it's so heartbreaking. So like I can totally empathize with anyone that's gone through something like this, because it's at the moment, it's so hard. It's gonna take a long time to even forget about this person. You keep thinking about them. Like, why? What did I do wrong? Like, was it this? Was it that? Like, it sucks to be there. I remember driving home in my car after the breakup, and I was like crying in my car. And you know what song I turned on? Okay, I love listening to my sad songs, okay? No, it was Enrique Iglesias, and it was like, do you know what it feels like loving someone that's in a rush to throw you away? Like, I remember, like, that scene is still in my head. Do you know what it feels like to be the last one to know the lock on the door has changed? Do you know? Enrique Iglesias was my crush. Yeah, he always had like emotional songs. Heartbreaks are something we always remember, but it's definitely like young love learning lessons. So karaoke night went. But the lyrics were so fitting. That's why I wanted to sing it to you guys. Okay, please don't DMCA me. Yeah, Ping Pong beat was so nice too. Exactly. See, you guys know what song I'm talking about. Yeah, so it's such a bummer, but I think it's all for the best for OP. I think she dodged a bullet. If this man can leave you after 2 weeks of just meeting someone else, like, you dodged a bullet, because what if he did that to you after you were married? It makes me wonder that, like, did Kip video call, voice call with Lucy a lot, send each other photos, probably ERP'd, you know, like, we don't know what they got up to. Damn. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. Remember, these are real people behind the stories, and they're human and can make mistakes. They'll also be reading the comment section, so please try to have constructive criticism. There are always nicer ways to say something versus saying it meanly to help someone learn and grow. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra.